Hey friends, and welcome back to another What I Eat in a Week. This week was a little over the place. I did a little meal prepping, I spent a lot of time outside, and I found a couple of meals that I was just obsessed with and ate over and over again. Now that the weather is getting nicer, I'm spending a lot more time trying to be outside, and therefore I'm trying to eat more to make sure I'm fueling my workouts. A big thank you to Nourish for sponsoring a portion of today's video, and if you're new here, my name is Immy. I talk about all things to do with sustainability, intentional living, lots of food and outdoor activities, and the odd video essay. So if any of that appeals to you, then don't forget to subscribe, and if you like the video, please give it a like, as it really helps to support my channel. Okay, grab a cup of tea and let's get into it. Good morning. It feels like I haven't filmed a What I Eat in a Week for quite a while, and my diet has definitely changed quite a lot recently because of thinking about my future in terms of like bone density, muscle mass and things like that. I know it's quite early for me to be thinking about these things, but I just feel like the earlier the better. So I have been really prioritizing, what I can add to my diet. So things like good sources of protein, varying those things of lentils, beans, tofu, etc. And yeah, I just thought it'd be a good opportunity to catch up, show you some projects that I'm working on, testing out some new recipes, and just kind of playing around with some flavors and trying to have a lot of fun with the food that I'm eating, especially now that we're coming into spring. So there are going to be so many more different foods that are available in my local area and at the farmers market, which finally started again, which I'm very excited about. But today is an extremely grey day. We're getting a lot of rain here in Denver, which is unusual to just get plain old rain. So I feel like I really want to make that white bean stew that I have been making quite a lot, but not recently, because as the weather got warmer, it just felt like I didn't want something as hot. But now that it's colder and it's raining, I just really am craving it. I'm also going to make some more bagels today, because is there anything that tastes better than a fresh bagel? I don't know. Plus, I love sandwiches in spring. It just feels right, Anyway, let's get started with that bean stew. We had a few days of rain, which is quite unusual for Denver, so I was really craving my white bean stew, which is a mix of a lot of different recipes that I kind of took the best bits that I liked from each one and then put it all together. It's really simple and has very few ingredients. And one of the best things I like about it is after you cook it on the stove for about 15 minutes, I then put it in the oven for about 25. This is also a great recipe for meal prepping, and when I'm trying to get in a diverse range of protein, then having white beans in this is a really great way to get extra protein in, whilst also just adding a bit more variety. The rain was truly relentless and just kept pouring for multiple days. So I was really pleased with being able to have such a nice warming meal to have whenever I needed it. Once the stew had cooled down, I just put the rest of it into a Tupperware and put it in the fridge so that I could have it whenever I wanted. Now for dinner, I decided to make some spiced black beans so I could make little tacos. I also had made a avocado crema the day before from Rainbow Plant Life's new cookbook, which was delicious. And so I thought it would be a great way to just kind of stack a few things into a taco and have a really quick and simple and delicious meal. The black beans were super easy. I just shoved a bunch of spices in there that I thought would work well, like smoked paprika, oregano, cumin, salt, pepper, that kind of thing. And then I layered on a homemade pico with some hot sauce too. I've been experimenting with different things to have before the gym. So this morning I just had half a banana and some almonds. This definitely wasn't enough, but I experimented with different variety of things and different quantities as well this week. Good morning. I just got back from the gym, so I'm going to make myself a protein shake with banana and some protein. I've almost made my way through the plant-based protein powders that I've been trying. I had 2 Truvani ones, and I also had a Kachava one. Protein powders are not my favorite, so I've been trying to search for the best flavor that also just feels like it has all the good stuff in it. Today I just did an hour on the treadmill, incline walking with a 20-pound vest. Not the most interesting workout, to be honest, but I'm really dedicated to getting fit for hiking this summer and for backpacking. So I'm just taking the time now to do the kind of boring workouts that I know will have a really big impact once I actually do get outside. I've been able to do a hike at the weekends, but my cardio fitness, not the best. So yeah, I've just been trying to be really consistent with doing my indoor workouts so that when I do go outside, everything feels just a lot nicer. So yeah, I'm gonna make a protein shake, and then I said I was gonna make bagels yesterday and I didn't, but it's still rainy and grey today, so I'm gonna make bagels after I have a shower. I'm literally too lazy to pour this into a glass afterwards, so I just drink it out of this. And because I find vegan protein powders to be quite temperamental when it comes to mixing, I just find it so much easier to put it in an actual blender, and then you don't get those odd clumps every now and again, which taste quite unpleasant, I won't lie. If you've watched a lot of my videos, then you are probably sick of seeing me making bagels, but honestly, I just can't stop myself. They're so easy to make, and once you've made them a bunch of times, then I honestly don't even really need to look at the recipe anymore. I need it for about 10 minutes, making sure it becomes really nice and soft and kind of smooth. Then I just allow it to rise or double in size for maybe 20 to 30 minutes, maybe even 40, just depending on how warm my kitchen is. And then I actually split my bagels into 4 now instead of 6, because I just like a really big bagel, to be honest. After shaping, I'll allow them to rest again for about 10 minutes and then add them to boiling water, boil for about a minute on each side, and then bake in the oven at 425 for 25 minutes. Truly, they are so simple to make, and I highly encourage you to make them if you've been interested in trying them out. Once they were ready and had cooled down just slightly, I had one with some more of my stew because it was still the perfect day for it. For dinner, I just made a really random salad of whatever was in the fridge that kind of needed to be eaten, and then I made a tahini dressing. I also had a little bit of sauerkraut that needed eating, and that was pretty much it. Good morning, another protein shake. I did legs this morning, so needing to refuel. Before my workout, I actually had an English muffin with some peanut butter and jam. I'm trying to experiment with what to eat before I work out. I think today was a little bit too much, and yesterday maybe not enough. So I'm trying to get that fine balance so that I feel really good in my workout and I'm well fueled, but I'm not eating too much before the workout. It's a hard balance to get. I think I'm going to do a little bit of meal prepping tomorrow, so I'm going to plan that today. We still have a few things in the fridge that need to get eaten. I like to try and get everything out of the fridge before I do any kind of meal prep, so it's nice to make sure that nothing goes to waste, and then it just gives us a good idea of what we're eating, what we're not eating. And as the weather changes, it's a little bit hard to, I guess, decide what it is that we want to eat. But I always forget that I have a lot of cookbooks, so I'm going to go through all of those today, and I'm going to go through some websites that are some of my favorites. I definitely need to mix things up a little, but we did make a vegan matcha paneer the other day, which was really good, and I made a sagaloo as well, which was really good. I actually have some of those left, so I might have some of those for lunch. But yeah, apart from that, I have a video essay that I need to finish and quite a few emails to respond to. When I'm busy, I just really like convenient food, so I had a rice cake, and then I made myself a coconut yogurt bowl with some strawberries and some blueberries and a little bit of nut butter. I also had some white bean stew, and then my husband and I shared the rest of the sagaloo that we had made a couple days before. Good morning. I'm gonna do a bit of a meal prep today. I prepared everything yesterday and I just went out and did a little grocery shop this morning. Last night I ended up going climbing with a new friend. So I got back pretty late, and that's why I didn't film my dinner, but it was very much a girl dinner, just kind of like bits that I could throw together, like apple and then cucumber and a random like yogurt and things like that. But I thought I'd show you the yogurt that I am having as a quick breakfast this morning. It is a Cocoa June, 8 gram of protein, organic Greek style cultured coconut yogurt, and it's a raspberry flavor. I've never tried these ones before, so I thought we could try it together and give it a realistic taste test. I don't like that. I don't like this at all, which is a shame. Cocoa June is like my favorite coconut yogurt for making things like marinades or mixing into things like overnight oats that I'm gonna make later. But yeah, just on its own, not the best. And considering it's pretty expensive, that's a bit unfortunate. I also have a meeting today with a dietitian because I'm doing so much activity at the moment, and it's only going to get more intense during the summer. I'm really getting into endurance sports and getting into like long days in the mountains. So I really want to make sure I'm fueling myself properly and eating the right things to kind of, build muscle and maintain just like my energy. So I'm very excited to chat with her today. It's through Nourish, who are very kindly sponsoring a portion of today's video. So I'm going to get started with the meal prep, and then we'll sit down and have our meeting and I'll tell you all about it. Okay, so before I hopped on my call with Kayla, a registered dietitian with Nourish, I went through the survey on Nourish's website to make sure I was matched with someone that met my needs and had expertise in the areas I was looking for. For me, I wanted advice on sports nutrition and how to fuel my body correctly for weightlifting, climbing, hiking, and long days cycling in the mountains. After I filled out the survey, I inputted my insurance information and was estimated that my sessions would cost $0 and be covered. So until Nourish have connected with my insurance, my sessions will be $0 as they never backdate payments if their estimate is incorrect. In my first session, Kayla and I went over all my goals, medical history, and lifestyle questions, and she told me how to use the app effectively to ensure that she gets a really well-rounded view of my eating and how she can best advise me. One thing we're going to be looking at is the timing of things like protein and carbs to help my workouts and make sure I don't run out of energy on long hikes, because this frequently happens and I end up being a grumpy gremlin on the way down the mountain. This year, I've already started to look at my overall health in a different way, and I'm really trying to focus on adding things in that could truly make a big difference. And I'm already starting to feel the impact of taking care of my overall mental and physical health. So ahead of my next session, I'll be snapping pictures of my meals and snacks to give Kayla as much info as possible so she can help me achieve my goals this year. I'm actually so excited to share some of my bigger goals once they are definitely confirmed. Nourish is the easiest way to speak to a registered dietitian and have it covered by your insurance. So if you're interested in learning more and you're based in the US, then click the link in the description below. Okay, so I just finished my Zoom call with my dietitian and we went through everything that you could need to know about how I'm currently eating, what my goals are, how I'm fueling any concerns. We also went through things like how my sleep was, how I would rate my stress levels and stuff like that. And now we have quite a few things to work on for next week's. Okay, speaking of food, I think it's time to have some lunch, which is probably going to be quite a few things from the fridge because obviously I'm meal prepping right now and I love to go through the fridge and make sure that nothing is going to wasted and I just eat up any things that are last bits. Okay. Oh, I'm feeling really excited now. I'm feeling like the possibilities of hiking some really big mountains this year and doing a lot of them is it's gonna feel good. Honestly, for the rest of the day, I just ate whatever was left from the meal prep, but the next morning was a Saturday and we had a big hike, so we decided to make some porridge for breakfast just to make sure we had a lot of energy. We went on a really big training hike, which was great, lots of elevation, lots of miles, and obviously I forgot to have a snack and bring snacks, which is one of my biggest downfalls. So luckily I had a banana that I left in the car, which I had, but when I got home I was so hungry. I had a really random mix of things like some olives and then some cucumber, and then we made burrito bowls. I like to use the meat alternative daring chicken. It's like one of the only meat alternatives that I actually like. And because I had meal prepped some more avocado crema, I put that in with a bunch of other things. That just was the best thing to have after a really long hike. I loved it so much. After I made burritos, we had a bit of a break, but I was very tired and ended up having a nap. Once I woke up, I made basically another burrito, but just a smaller version because I was so hungry. And then for dinner, we made a vegan matcha paneer. This is actually a recipe that Rainbow Plant Life had recommended in one of her blog posts, and it was so good. We definitely made enough so that we could have some the next day. And to be honest, I was surprised that we had enough energy to even make it in the first place. We had another big day ahead of us the next day, so I made sure to eat enough for dinner. And again, in the next morning on Sunday, I had porridge because we were going to go climbing for probably at least 5 or 6 hours. This also included a little bit of a hike to get there, and inevitably we forgot snacks yet again. So when we got back, I just had a few different things that I could find that were convenient, and we made burritos basically again. I don't know what it is about burritos that just really hit the spot after a big day of exercise. Maybe it's the fact that there are lots of different things in there and some fresh things and some cooked things. It's literally my number one thing to have. Good evening, friends. This weekend has been a very active weekend because Friday evening I went for a hike with a friend. Saturday I did a training hike for a backpacking trip I'm about to go on. And today we did some climbing. It was easy climbing, but it was like that exposure climbing to get me a little bit less scared. But I have a very busy evening and tomorrow, so I'm writing myself a list. I'm actually going to San Diego tomorrow evening to visit one of my best friends. We're going to hang out for a few days and then we're basically going on like a hiking, getting outside backpacking trip, which I'm very excited for. So I'm just writing a list on that. Honestly, because I had lunch so late, I probably will have a small dinner. Probably just have some more of that vegan matcha paneer from yesterday. Oh, that recipe is so good. I'm gonna write my list and start packing. I've got to pack my backpacking stuff. I'm also gonna learn to surf this week. I'm also just gonna be doing lots of hiking. I'm gonna be working with my friend. We're just gonna be hanging out. There's a lot of different things to pack, which is actually quite hard for my very chaotic brain to think about. So I'm writing a list, we're gonna get it done, and then I'll check in with you at dinner time. The last few days I have not chatted to the camera very much because I'm tired. I've been doing a lot of activities, but it's been really good. Okay, I'm currently in a state of trying to finish my packing, but I just am so bad at it. I've got my backpack here for the backpacking part, and then I also have my suitcase for the non-backpacking part, but also we're kind of changing our plans as we go. We're going to be spending maybe 4 or 5 days, maybe 4 days in San Diego, then we're going to drive up to maybe Sequoia National Park, do some hiking, and then we're going to Yosemite National Park, manage to get some camping spots, and then we're going on our backpacking trip. So it's going to be quite a lot, but I am so excited. But yeah, today is a bit of a rush. This morning I just had some porridge. I've just been having that every morning because it feels so much easier to just make, and it gives me a lot of energy throughout the day. And I'll probably just finish eating some of the meal prep stuff I meal prepped last week. I still have some roasted red peppers, stuffed peppers that I have to eat, and just various other things that are delicious. I also probably need to maybe pack myself some snacks or just have like a very early dinner before I go. I'm so excited to go on my first backpacking trip of the year. It's going to be really nice and short and just like a really nice introduction back into backpacking. I don't think I've backpacked for maybe a year, and it takes a lot of physical energy, especially if your bag is a little bit heavier than you want it to be. Anyway, I'm going to finish packing and then I'm going to have some lunch. Okay, so I got to San Diego a couple of days ago and I've already tried a few different coffee shops, and to be honest, I've just been eating whatever I've been given. My hosts have been very gracious and made me a lot of meals. Today I am actually going to try another one of those Cocoa June yogurts, but I'm going to try a different flavour. I know I should probably give up on them at this point, but I thought, why not? So this is a blueberry lemonade one, and I'm also going to just make myself like a little sandwich with some avocado, some local bread, and some baked tofu, and then just I kind of like little bits on the side. It's really nice and warm here, so it kind of makes me feel like I just want to have lots of different bits. So I'm going to put that together. That flavour is even worse than the other one. What a shame. What a shame. Unfortunately, I would rate that yogurt probably a 1 out of 10. So needless to say, I don't really recommend them. But that's it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed seeing what I've been eating, and I'm going to be making a whole video about actually being here in California because this afternoon I'm going to go learn to surf. I'm also going backpacking next week and I'm going camping, and I think it's just like a really good way to show the kind of balance that I'm trying to get on my low buy year of not spending money and prioritizing doing the things that I actually want to like make memories and adventures and stuff like that. And yeah, anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.